All right, welcome to Unit 4. In this unit, we're going to look at the AutoCAD drawing. We're going to continue the introduction of how to use AutoCAD. So previous one, we give you the introduction about the AutoCAD environment, and we tell you a simple command that you can draw lines, and we show you how you can draw a line using the coordinate. Now in this unit, let's look at what you have to do. You click on the Unit 4, it leads to the learning objectives. We're going to talk about the printing and scaling in AutoCAD. We're also going to show you the command in the draw panel, which is one of the panel in the ribbon. And then you are also going to look at another panel, which is about the modification. So there are several commands we're going to introduce in this unit. The main part of this is the second half of the chapter 2 of your textbook. So make sure that you read the textbook to understand the basic idea. We're not going to cover everything in this video, but more detail can be found from your textbook. After you finish this lecture, you should work on the example and take the quiz 4. You can look at the book of the second half of the chapter 2 for answer and some of the things you have to actually draw it and to turn it in. Let's go to the next one. So the first thing we're going to introduce is how do you print and do the scaling in the AutoCAD. A lot of time we will ask you to turn in a DWG file, which is a drawing file of the AutoCAD. But certain chances we want you to print into a PDF file. So when you want to print something into a PDF file, you can use the command called plot and another command called print. Both commands can lead you to this window over here. You can also click on this printer over here. That will lead you to this window. So what are the things that you can do on this window? The first thing you should do is actually to select what kind of printer that you have on this tab at here. So if you have a printer or you have a plotter, you can click on this one to select the printer or the plotter that you have. There is also an option. The option is the DWG to PDF. So you're going to use that option to print the result. So again, this selection that you need to use is the DWG to PDF. So use this function, use this selection to print your file into the PDF. The next thing you should do is to select the page, the paper size. Now, normally we just print our graph into a later size, which is the default at here. If you want to print your graph into a larger paper, or your drawing actually is a large drawing, then you wanted to select a proper size of the paper. Then you can click on this tab to select the proper size of the paper that you want. You can just use the default because most of the time we're just going to print it into a regular printer. The next thing I want you to look at is this plot scale. The plot scale is that if you draw a graph and your graph may be larger than the paper or maybe too small for a large paper, then you wanted to scale it. You can scale it up, you can scale it down, and to make the best use of the paper. So the easiest way is just simply select this fit to paper, then whatever the size that you have, it will be limited by the size of the paper. So you will see the most possible region to fill with your drawing. If you have certain a specific scale that you want to print, then you deselect this one, and this one will allow you to select the scaling that you wish. You can have 1:1, you can have 1:2, or you can have 2:1. So either to make it larger or to make it smaller, and you can do it over here. After this, then you would also want to make sure the plot area right here. Now the plot area have 4 selections. In your textbook, they give you more detail about what the option really means. So I do encourage you to take a look of the textbook to find out what these different options represent. The display simply just plot the things displayed on the screen. And there is a function called window, which allow you to use the mouse to select the region that you wanted to print. There's another called extend. The extend would use the most useful space on paper to either scaling up or scaling down, very similar to the fit to paper, to give you the ability to print the graph with the most use of the paper. Once you finish all these selection, I also recommend you click on this one called the preview. The preview allows you to see after your selection what it looks like if you actually print on the paper, and you can change that if that is not what you want. Okay, so this is what the print and scale would do. And there is a video to show you if you wanted to see the live demonstration. Click on this video to understand that. The next thing we also wanted to show you is to look at this one. This video is actually a video to demonstrate the drawing panel. So the drawing panel is the panel on the left upper corner of the Windows version. The Mac version might be different place. And it includes these symbols over here. Each one of them has certain purposes. The first one, draw a line that we introduced last time. The polyline, meaning it could be a combination of straight line and the curved line. So a straight line and curved line, and you can continue draw the line until you wanted to stop it. The circle, draw the circle, very obvious, but there's several different ways you can draw a circle. And please look at how you can draw a circle with a different option. Arc is just an arc, is some segment of the circle. Now this also has several different ways you can draw an arc. There's some other things on the right hand side. The first one here you see is a rectangular. Then the next one is the ellipse. And the next one is the region that you can select. So we are going to talk about these things in the future. After you learn these things, then you can start to work on the quiz. Now, there's another one that I didn't mention, which is about the trimming and modification. You can look at the book, and it's very similar to the drawing panel. I might record another video to show you how those are working. Your homework too for this week is to draw a basic shape. You're given with these two shapes. You are going to draw these in the AutoCAD. So make sure that you open a new window. And when you look at the first problem here, make sure this one has a dimension in millimeters. So you're supposed to use the template file that you created before and use the set MNDWT file. How do you draw this one here? Let me give you a hint. If you look at this drawing, you would not start with the circle. I would just start with this shape that enclose these two circles, and I can select any point to be my starting point. In this case, I probably will select this one here as my starting point, the lower left corner. When you start the drawing, you can select any point as your starting point. Then what you wanted to do is to use the practice that you did for the previous lab, the coordinate system. You go to the right of 75 units, which is 75 millimeter, and the angle will be 0 degree. And you have to put the at sign to use the relative coordinate system. That is the simplest way. The difficult thing of drawing these things is this one here. So how do you know the location of the circle? Well, you can put your coordinate system to this point. So you have to use the UCS system to move your origin to this point and use that point as your reference point to put the center of the circle at this location. Similarly, you're going to draw another one at here, and let me give you a hint on this one as well. If I am going to draw this one, I would actually start to draw the circle. I'll select any point to be the starting point, maybe here, and I draw this big circle. After I draw the big circle, then I will move my coordinate system to the center of the circle, because this helps me to find where my little two circle location are. If I move my center point to be the center of the circle, then the small circle is on the right by 2.10 inches. It will to the left to 2.1 inches as well. So that will help me to draw this big circle and two smaller circles. Once you finish those things, what you wanted to do is to go to the little circle center at here, draw this big circle. Okay, draw this big circle. And draw another big circle on the right. The size of the circle is based on this dimension. When you see R.80, that means the radius is 0.8 inches. When you see this symbol here, a 0 with a slash, that means this is the diameter. So the diameter is 1.25 for the large circle. For smaller circle, they give you the radius, not a small circle. This arc over here is 0.8 radius. So you finish the true circle, you finish the big circle at the center, you have these two circles on the sides, and what else did you have to do? Well, then you have to draw the line here. Okay, so to draw the line, you need to know where you start and where you are going to end. It might be actually easier that you can draw something like a rectangular, like this rectangular here. The rectangular is going to touch on the top and the bottom point of this joint. And then you draw a rectangular. Now you might say, well, the rectangular is not the shape that I want to draw. That's correct. But this helps me to define the size of the center part. And once I have the rectangular, I can draw the line to connect these 2 points by simply just draw the line and touch to the half of this circle point at here. Same thing on the right. Then I can trim out the thing I don't know or I don't need. So that's the best strategy that you can use to do this. Okay, there's a video if you really need help to do this drawing. And I think that's what you need to do for this module. If you have any question, please contact me so I can help you. I'll see you on the next unit.